What's going on, guys? Stefan here. Welcome to another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the 5 best core exercises for footballers and why you should be doing them. Before we get into the exercises, let's define what the core actually is. So if I were to ask you what you think the core is, I'm sure most of you would say your abs. And while you are correct to an extent, the core, when talking about footballers and athletes in general, is made up of much more than just the abs. So we're not just talking about the rectus abdominis, those six-pack muscles that most of you guys think of when you think of core or abs. We're also referring to the transverse abdominis, those deeper muscles in your abs, the obliques, and the lower back. So everything in your midsection, your entire trunk, all the muscles that support your spine is your core. And this is probably where most of you go wrong when thinking about core training, because I'm sure a lot of you just are doing sit-ups and crunches and those kind of exercises and neglecting the lower back. You wouldn't go to the gym and work out for years and just focus on your chest and neglect your back. You wouldn't just focus on your quads and neglect your hamstrings. So don't go to the gym, don't just work on your core and think about working your abs and neglect the lower back. Being balanced all around will benefit you on the pitch and prevent injuries. And I have a degree in exercise and sports science. I'm an ACSM Certified Personal Trainer. I'm a professional footballer, and I am here to help you. Just doing sit-ups is not going to cut it anymore. So with that being said, let's talk about the 5 best core exercises for footballers that will develop every single aspect of the core. Exercise number 1 is knee tuck crunches. Every single exercise that I'm going to be talking about will focus on a different movement. This movement is flexion, what most of you think of when you think of core exercises. Just bending over at the hip, engaging the core. So what you're going to do for knee tuck crunches is pretty simple. You're going to start lying on your back, fully extended, and at the same time bring your upper body up while bringing your knees in towards you. Basic flexion like this exercise engages primarily the rectus abdominis, those six-pack muscles you think of going straight down your abs. So at the top of this exercise, you're going to want to squeeze your abs, and then on the eccentric part, that going down part of the exercise, it's slow and controlled, all the way back down, and then repeat. I recommend 15 to 25 reps for most people, but obviously if you're more experienced or less experienced, change these rep ranges to make it suit you. And notice how I'm not trying to fling myself up with my arms and my upper body. Let the abs do all of the work. So we have an exercise for flexion. Next, we're going to work on rotation. Exercise number 2 are alternating jackknives. So because we are adding a rotation into the exercise now, we're working more of the obliques that rotate the trunk. For the alternating jackknife, what you want to do is start lying on your back, fully extended. Then at the same time, raise your opposite leg and opposite arm along with your upper body up and across to try to bring that hand to the outside of that opposite leg. Control yourself on the way down, then with the other arm and other leg, bring that opposite hand across, trying to reach the outside of that foot, squeezing in the obliques, transverse abdominals, rectus abdominis, and bring yourself back down. And it doesn't seem like a whole lot of rotation, but if you were to look from the back, you can clearly see my whole upper body rotating and trying to squeeze in that one side of the core. And I would recommend anywhere from 10 to 20 reps on each side, but again, adjust it to your skill level. So far, we focused a lot on the abdominals. I'm going to show you an exercise that requires extension now, and will develop your lower back and erectors. Exercise number 3 are Supermans. What you're going to do is start by lying on your stomach with your hands in front of you and your elbows bent at 90 degrees. At the same time, raise your upper body up and your lower body so your chest comes off the floor and your knees come off the floor. Squeeze your glutes and your lower back. At the top of the exercise, pause for a second, focus on that squeeze, and then control yourself back down. This isn't a massive movement, but what you want to do is just isolate that contraction in your glutes and your lower back. Moving on to exercise 4, it's just an isometric contraction. We are doing side planks. An isometric exercise is just contracting a muscle without moving it at all, so you're just holding a certain position. So getting into a side plank position, raise your hips up and squeeze in that oblique that is closest to the ground. And to make this exercise more difficult, if you're working on your right side, raise your left leg up, hold that as well. It's going to work on the abductor in that left leg, and just hold that side plank position for as long as you can. And typically a good range for this is about 30 seconds to a minute. The final exercise, number 5, is the most difficult exercise and focuses on a little bit of everything, but mostly just total body stability. This exercise is the advanced bird dog. What you are going to do for the advanced bird dog is start in a push-up position and then extend one arm and the opposite leg all the way out, and then at the same time bring that elbow in towards the knee and then all the way out again. The entire time you are balancing on one foot and one hand. And this exercise is very difficult. What you don't want to do is wobble around and have your hips move side to side. You want to stay as stable as possible. And then after about 10 reps, switch sides. I know this exercise might be difficult for some of you, so here are a few easier versions. For this version, instead of bringing the elbow into the knee, you're just going to put your hand and your foot back down into a push-up position and extend the opposite arm and leg and then back down into the push-up position. A slightly easier version than that is going onto your hands and your knees, extending the opposite arm, the opposite leg, and then bringing the elbow in towards the knee. And the easiest version of all of them is on your hands and knees, just extending one arm and one leg and then back down. Then do the opposite side. So there you have it. Those are 5 exercises that work on different movements and develop all aspects of the core. Like I said, don't just work on the abs, work on the lower back as well, and you will be well developed, well-rounded, and balanced. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave this video a like, drop a comment down below, subscribe, turn the notifications on for more videos in the future, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.